My name is Anthony Zupnik, and I work for Wolfram Research. And I'm going to be talking about the CloudConnector for Excel, a new product which integrates Excel to the Wolfram Cloud.
So, hey everyone, my name is Anthony Zupnik, and I'm going to be talking to you about the CloudConnector for Excel, a new product which is coming extremely soon, by which I mean it is available now. We're kind of doing an official release, hopefully next week, but let me show you about what the product actually is. So yeah, I'll talk about what it is. I'm going to install it from scratch. So this is like, I'm kind of like totally blank here, and hopefully everything will work fine. But this will hopefully bring you confidence or destroy your confidence in my abilities. And then I'll talk about the two main functions of the product, which is the Wolfram function and the Wolfram API function. Then I will do some live coding and again attempt to show you some skill. And then I also want to show you, because some people who will have come here, I think, are just seeing Excel in the title, and maybe they just want to know like what kind of things we want to do, that we do in Excel. So I'll show you some other ways that we interact with Excel. So yeah, so what is it? This is a plugin for Excel, which only runs on Windows, unfortunately. But it's very important to let people know this, because a lot of people aren't aware. But it allows you to call the Wolfram Cloud from Excel, either via, if you can write, native Wolfram language within Excel, or Wolfram APIs. I call them Wolfram APIs. I feel like this should be an official thing, but this is Wolfram APIs being API functions which are deployed in the Wolfram Cloud. So yes, so it's a product which is available to download now, and you can go to this URL, wolfram.com/cloud-connector-for-excel, and so we'll go to the page and have these lovely marketing pages which I helped create, and this nice picture here and everything. So to install this product, you just go to the resources page, and then the good thing about this, the resources is they're kind of ordered in order of like how you would want to do things. So download the product, try and find out how to install the product, and see an example spreadsheet, and then watch some videos. So I pushed the wrong button. That's the first one. So it's free to download, by the way. And so I can install the product. Very simple in install. Obviously, I've read all these terms and conditions. And it should be very quick installation. Okay. I mean, there's not really much to install, so it should be very fast. And so now we can fire up Excel. And yeah, I should get a license for this, for Excel. I do have one, by the way. So let's have a look. So what did I say? Say the preferences. So I want to just change my preferences. I mean, this will work out straight out of the box like this. But one of the preferences I change is the default cloud account, which is the account from which you are calling your APIs. You don't have to set this. This is just a convenience. So I can set it to my account, which is anthonyz@wolfram.com. And I'll just click OK, and we can click the test button, which should verify operation of your of the system.
How come you didn't have to verify security certificates?
So you can verify. I have this. I think by default it's on off, because if you want to use an EPC, some people who have EPCs don't have the SSL certificates, which means that you're going to get an error, which prevents you from using the product. So I think it's up to you, I guess. I mean, really, it should be on. If you're using the public I think it is actually, but I think the yeah. So
Running with EPC is to turn it off for EPC.
yeah, and that's only if you haven't installed certificates for the EPC. So okay, so yes.
Default cloud account. So should I use my own the registered email?
Yeah. So if you're going to be writing APIs.
There's documentation which is up and live, and that does discuss what the consequences of this are. So there's an FAQ for this.
Yeah, sure. I'll show you. I'll show you some more stuff.
Maybe show the documentation because it's FAQs.
Yes, I could do that. Yeah. Sure. So first of all, the Wolfram function. So the Wolfram function is a function that allows you to call native Wolfram language within Excel. Now you require to be able to have a cloud ID for being able to call these functions because it uses cloud credits. And let's just try this. It's probably a little bit small. Let me make this a bit bigger. It's probably fine. So it goes as follows. So I can just say equals Wolfram random integer, and it should just call the default for random integer, which is a random integer between 0 and 1. So I'll just sign in, and it's worked probably. It looks like it's worked. I have a list of examples actually that I wanted to show. So current date. So this was if you wanted to just get today's date, it will it returns a specialized JSON specifically for the Cloud Connector. And the Cloud Connector plugin converts the result into a specific format. In this case, it knows that it's looking for a date, and so it converts the cell format into a date. Because I don't know if you know in Excel, a date is actually just a number. And the visualization is part of formatting. So if you want to look like what it looks like under the hood, you just convert it to general, and the current date is 43,796 blah blah blah, which is the number of days since the 1st of January, 1900.
So when it returns value, it also returns a format?
Yes, it will convert some formats. There's some formatting things for convenience. In the case of dates, so Excel doesn't, like if you create a macro in Excel, which uses dates, it won't automatically format the cell for you. Excel has this thing where you write a date here, it will work. That works. Like Excel has, for their own devices, they do this automatic conversion, and this date gets converted back into a number. But you can't do that in a macro.
If it just returned a number, it would display as a number unless there was some formatting information that said, hey, this is a date. Use this format. So
Sure. But yeah, so Excel, like I say, if you write that in the cell, it's now converted this into a number. It's you've kind of written a string, and now it's realized it's a number, so it's converted it into a number. So yeah, we do some automatic formatting to make it simpler for the user to understand what's going on. So I kind of showed random data, but I didn't show matrix results. So there's a function, random word, and it can take a parameter. The second parameter can be a number, and that can be the number of random pieces of data that you want. So random word 5 should be 5 random words. So we see that this is expanded into a matrix, which if we wanted to change the size of the data, we could do this as well. Hopefully no obscene words come up. I don't know how this works exactly, but certainly some questionable words have come up before in the past. So on the theme of dates, a lot of people like to do dates can be a bit of a pain to use in Excel. Dates are very nice in the Wolfram language. So, for example, if we want to just do a small layer of computation here, I could say day range now, day plus now plus 10. So the next 10 business days from today. So we'll run this in Mathematica first, and you can see the result. Now, if we wanted to do this in the Cloud Connector with Excel, you could write this, which is basically the same thing, and we'll just paste it into a new sheet. It doesn't maintain the zoom, so I can just paste this in, and it should just work, which is quite nice. You can also like reference values in Excel as well. So yeah, that'll do for zooming. So let's say this code references B2, so I can put a value in B2, and then just paste my code here, so it does the next 10 days from now, or whatever's in B2. So this will dynamically update if I change the values. So that's how you that's how you use the Wolfram function. Hey, Abdul.
Trying to understand syntax. So when do you use the first form, which doesn't have brackets as argument, and when do you use the second? And also, when the first thing is a function, the first argument has to be a function. So random word is a function.
Yeah, so if you want to define like a pure function, then you have to put an ampersand at the end.
To make a function. Okay, so the first one is equivalent if I did random word bracket 5 ampersand. Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what is this double quote? Is that
Double quotes is just so in Excel the quote escaping is double quotes. So there are other ways to escape quotes, but this is the best way, I think. It looks clean enough. It's still a little bit confusing. It's something that we're aware of, but we can't avoid it because this is how Excel does it. So, okay. So that was the Wolfram function. So let's talk about the Wolfram API function. So this is a function where you deploy your API functions in the cloud. And then you can access them from within Excel. You call them in Excel. So you can use both. You can create public or private APIs, private to yourself, private to a group of individuals. It just works. I don't know. It just works. You don't need to worry about like any details there. So I just wanted to show the example spreadsheet. So this is something that you can download from the resources page. You see. Once you've, where have we gotten to? So after the how to install, I'll show you that at some point. You've got the get an example spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet is here. That's a very nicely designed spreadsheet by Billy. I don't know if Billy's here. No, but anyway, he did a good job with this, and it just talks you how to run these APIs. So it says like enter your data into a spreadsheet, write your Wolfram API function, and then you can change values and it will work, and the result is here at the bottom. But I'm just going to go through these. I'll when the live coding thing, I'll explain things in a little bit more detail. So we've already kind of seen grids of data within the Wolfram function. In the Wolfram API function, the behavior is the same. So this is just returning a grid of random integers between 0 and 1,000, I think. It doesn't tell me actually here, but there's some details. If I want to have a plot here, this is updating. Oh, Q, yeah. So one thing from the that's actually kind of useful information is I've specified in the API that it has to be a list of integers. So it tells me here that the parameter data, which is here, cannot be interpreted, and it tells you that it needs to be a list of numbers. Actually, it doesn't have to be integers; it can be numbers. So I should be able to put in like 1.5, and this should work. So the errors are quite useful as well. If you wanted to have a grid, so let me just disable you can disable all the functionality if you want to in the menu, and I'll just change all this to ones, and then I'll re-enable, and we should just see all of these things. This is a single API call, by the way. It's a single API call which returns a grid of data, which is really, really cool, I think. And the last example returns details of, if you're signed in or not, essentially, and what your details are. I don't know if these are personal details or not. This UUID, it might be. But yeah, it gives you, I got signed in, and you can use this information when you're rating your API functions. So, hi.
So, those are distinctly not mathematical plot functions that you can embed in your notebook. That's uniquely the API function that's the API function that's unique to the cloud.
No. I mean, well, API, yeah. So API function isn't quite unique to the cloud. I mean, you can write an API function which you can call. I mean, I don't know why you would want to do it, but it's. Yeah, I will be showing it.
Why don't we show you an example of how you write one? It's a Wolfram feature. API function is a Wolfram feature, and it's making a plot and returning it to Excel, and Excel is displaying it. But the plots are made by Mathematica, but we'll show you writing an API function. That might answer your question better.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, I will show you. Like, I'm going to do this live coding thing where I'll go into a little bit of detail. But basically, this is a API function which you deploy. It takes a parameter x, which must be an integer, and then it does the day range thing that we had before. So we had before the Wolfram function, which did now date plus, and then you specify some number, and it will give you the business days between those days. And I've just wrapped it around an API function, so we can do a Wolfram API call instead of a Wolfram call. The only thing that's different from a normal API function is that you need to add this parameter, allowed cloud extra parameter goes to all. So I've called this function my day rate function, and if I run this, and for convenience, I'm just going to copy and paste this. It's called my day rate function, day range function, and it takes a parameter x, which must be at C2. So I'll have a new spreadsheet, which goes to C2, which takes 10, and I'll just copy and paste this in. And so it's just calling my day rate function, where x is C2, and it should just run. So if I change these values, it will work as the Wolfram function did before, but it's wrapped around an API function. And this allows you greater granularity of what kind of parameters it can take. It also allows you to write more complicated code, because writing a long string of just pure Wolfram language code in a cell can get very messy very quickly. So I just wanted to show you a little more of a potentially useful example. I won't go into the code too much, but it's this employee rotor that I made, which makes a rotor for people using the day rate function. So it takes a start date and an end date. And then it does, and you give a list of names, and it will create an employee rotor for you. So I won't go into the details of the code here because I realize I'm running out of time. But basically, I have a start date, which can either be an Excel date or a computed date. So I could say today, and then I could say today plus 10 days. And then I can say the people who are going to be working are Jessica, Gurley, Topher, Magali, and Tom. And my function was called, I called it shift allocation. And it takes these parameters. And then I run this, and it should make a rotor ignoring any non-business days in the UK. So that's how this works. Okay, so let me just build an example relatively quickly, and I'm running out of time. So I just wanted to talk to you about how you build these API functions, because I think it's pretty useful. So I'm going to make an API function which takes a parameter, which I'm just going to call x, and it's going to take an image. And that image is going to be, with that image, I'm just going to do color negate. So it's just going to negate whatever image comes in, like a, there's another word for color negate. What's the word I'm thinking of, Girly? You're smart. Sorry? Invert, yeah, that's right, yes. So I put allowed cloud extra parameters goes to all, and then I'm just going to call this test, and it's going to be a private API, so I have to be signed in. So this is pretty simple. I think it will work, hopefully. So it's called test, and it does color negate of an image. So I need an image, so I'm going to use Bing, because we love Microsoft here. So we're going to search for Emmett Brown, the doc. This is who I am. Look. See, look, here's his clip and everything. So I'm going to save this image. It's a JPEG, good. Put it onto desktop. Wait, hang on, what's that? What the? That's a weird format. I'm not sure what a JF. I don't know if that's supported. Let's just try this guy. Maybe I should have used Google. Oh no, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, here we go. No, it's fine, everything's fine. It wasn't Bing's fault. So I've got this image, and let's open another sheet. And what did I call it? So it's image 2019. So I go to my Wolfram tab. I insert a file path. The file is this image. So it does like a little file wrapper, like in the Wolfram language. It was called test, right? And then there was a parameter x, which should be this image. And hopefully, I have been very rushed. This will just work. Hey! So there we go. There's my color negated image of the doc. So yeah, that was just a simple live coding example. I wanted to do something a bit more advanced, but I'm out of time. So very quickly, I just want to mention about the documentation. So the documentation, you can get to it from the resources page on the main website. There's an introduction. The main pages that you want to look at is the setup and getting started. It shows you like how to install, setting your preferences, signing in. It talks about developers and Excel users. So developers, who want to create APIs and deploy them, and Excel users who just want to access APIs. The example spreadsheet that I showed you is in the Wolfram API examples thing, and it talks you through all the examples from an Excel user point of view and how to run these functions just in Excel. And then for the developers, we talk about the code and how you write the code for these examples, which obviously is quite useful, so you have something to go on. So we talk about the Wolfram function and the different ways that you can. There seems to be something missing here. Oh no, it's more Wolfram function examples. So it goes through all the different ways that you can construct Wolfram functions with the additional parameters. Yeah. So okay. So I have 13 seconds. It's fine. So other ways to interact with Excel: import, export. So a lot of you probably seen this, but yeah, if you want to import a spreadsheet, you can just use import. This one just imports the images. I got this Halloween spreadsheet for you guys as well because I wanted it to be Halloween themed. Export works in the same way. So if you wanted to export this pie chart with some additional values, you can use export. What else? So there's the Excel link. The Excel link allows you to call Excel to Mathematica or Mathematica to Excel. This is something that's existed for a while, but if you wanted to do that, let's just scroll down here. There's a function, I've got it installed, equals eval, which allows you to call Wolfram language code within Excel. Hopefully this just works. But I wanted to show you a quick example. It takes some time to load up, actually.
This is a local installation.
Yes. Yeah. So this does not use the cloud. It is only for local calls for Excel to Mathematica, and then you can do it in the other way around, where you can use the Excel link packlet to write to Excel, and then read to Excel. So this just does sum 1, 2, 3, and then sum of 1, 2, 3 is 6. So you can make your own Excel link if you wanted to, and this is something that I've been working on for testing purposes for the Cloud Connector. But if you use Netlink, you can load your assemblies. I don't know if this is actually going to work because the things aren't highlighted correctly, but I made a function so I can find out what version of Excel I'm using. I can make a workbook, and then I can make a new version of Excel write, which uses a net block, which adds the value. Excel's weird, and to set a value, you use value 2. So you set value 2 to the value, and here I'm writing equals 5 plus 5, and I can make a new version of Excel read and do that as well. So this isn't particularly interesting because it's going to show you the same thing, but the Excel driver packlet is something that I've been working on, which is I can enhance capabilities of the Excel link to be able to do things like shape manipulation and stuff like that, some things that the original Excel link doesn't do. So if that's something that you're interested in seeing, this is something that we can put up on GitHub and polish up and things like that. So please talk to me afterwards if that's of interest. Concluding remarks. So you can call native Wolfram language or API functions from within Excel using the Cloud Connector. It's a product that's available to download now. I kind of showed you multiple ways to interact with Microsoft Excel and Wolfram products, although I did it very quickly. And next week we should be releasing a blog, which it will be the official announcement for the Cloud Connector.